Hello guys, it's me, hidden in the darkness once again, now to cast a game, arena game from the tournament, Heaven and Hell. It happened between two very good players on arena, Ganji and Fedex. Ganji is a Swedish player and he's very well known for having great army control, especially on his monks. Yes, he's a great monk player. His ranged unit play is also very good, and he's playing here with the Burmese. Burmese playing on arena. In the past, everyone would associate Burmese with their unique unit, the Arumbai, who was nerfed into the oblivion. So now they're not that much used. And he's playing against Fedex, who's playing as the Turks. Turks are one of fans' favorites for arena. They have access to light, free upgraded light cavalry and Hussar. They have access to Janissary. They are also considered a Cav Archer. See, we can actually cast a game showing this power. Their Cav Archer is pretty powerful, extremely powerful to be honest, and makes all the difference. It has free chemistry upgrade, it has access to Sipahi, which increases each HP, and since it has free chemistry, Turks can also perform great fast Imperial Age strategies, and their transition to Imperial Age itself is pretty good, allowing them to produce bomber cannons. Not only that, but they also have access to extra range for bomber cannons and bomber towers with while using their unique technology. And here we have Ganji. He's playing as the Burmese. I think that the Burmese is also a great civ to play uh, in those closed maps, especially to play monks. Why? Well, the reason is they have some good eco bonus. They have lumber camp upgrade, so their ecos runs very smoothly. By reaching Castle Age, you already have researched like Bowsaw, so all of your wood line is gonna be incredibly good. And the biggest one is this one. All the monastery technologies cost less 50%. So you can get like sensitive for only 88 gold. You can get access to redemption for 238 gold, so you can convert enemy monks by only 163, and of course the Imperial Age technologies, 100 gold, 100 gold, 100 gold, 60 gold. Illumination, block printing, theocracy, you can get all three with only a small amount of gold. So it's quite easy to macro over that. You don't have to upgrade the wood, you just need a minimum amount of views on food, and there comes Genji here. Advancing towards the feudal age, but perhaps he might play with monks later on. He actually went up with population 20, with a barracks and mining camp, so he is actually going to play with archers. Why archers, guys? Archers is actually a good opening here for arena if you want to play aggressive and deny your opponent to get map control. Look at the relics placement. There are some closer to Genji, there are some other closer to Fedex. Trying to fight the relics against the Turks is not like a great deal. I mean, they do have like free upgraded light cavalry. That's already a huge resource saving, huh? And they can also make like some janissaries. So fighting for the map control on Castle Age against the Turks is not great. But if you force yourself during the feudal age by doing this kind of strategy, you can actually do a lot of put a lot of pressure on your opponent. Right here we can see Genji making a tower not too close to the wall, so in order that he can hit the wall and not allow villagers to counterattack. He's already making archers, and now he's attacking with both wheels and archers, and he can use this tower to crack open a hole in the enemy wall pretty soon. Fedex is coming here and trying to disrupt that. This is one of the techniques to try and wall behind, just sending a lot of views and then walk in the diagonal so you won't lose HP against the enemy tower. For that reason, there's also the possibility of attacking the gate, but it has more HP than a regular wall. So choices must be made. Right here, there are already 3 archers on the tower and they can break another segment of the wall. Before the player hits Castle Age, this wall only has 180 HP, which means that it is easier to break it down. Meanwhile, regarding the macro, well, he already had like a few villagers on the wood, like 6, and got their upgrade. Now he's just sending like everyone else towards the food. Sometimes players actually want to drop like another tower on their opponent after reaching out, so they ended up sending some views to the stone. But right here there's no value because he is not on the inside of his opponent. Fedex repeated the process, The only cost that you have by doing this process is the risk of losing views, but if you have experience and practice enough in this kind of thing, you can pull it off like Fedex did without losing any view. But right there, he has 6 villagers with a very low HP. If archers are inside and he doesn't react fast enough, he might lose. He might have to repeat the process. He even thought about sending more views, but no, no. He's out of timing to do that. The wall would probably break up before he gets there. So now he has to retreat, but he did manage to buy a lot of time without using his stone that he can place now town centers. And he didn't have to leave any resource, only the berries right now, but he already has enough here to defend himself. Now let's see what Ganji will do. Ganji is now attacking the enemy stable with villagers, with his scout. He's disrupting, his opponent is still halfway to Castle Age, and meanwhile guys, take a look at Genji's economy. Since the only unit that he is doing are the archers, he can have a solid economy, can go towards the next stage, but instead he did what I said about the stone. He is inside of his opponent, he can see value of adding towers, and there he goes. He's forcing a tower here that will prevent his enemy from repairing, and he actually forced Fedex to make the tower. Honestly, I personally believe that this was a mistake. Fedex is just wasting his stone that he could use to drop a TC and get some huge eco lead to actually counter the enemy tower. By the way, by the time he reaches Castle Age, his watchtower is going to receive a buff on its stats. So in a 1v1 war between the towers, the Fedex one should prevail. The only downside of defending with towers like this is that he actually needs to put villagers to increase the attack of the tower, while Genji can just use his archers and use his villagers for something else. And now, this is a play that's very common when defending towers, which is adding... Uh-oh, lost a view. He didn't saw the range for the tower, huh? That happens. Which is the addition of a Siege Workshop. Siege Workshop can allow players to drop both mangonels and battery brands, which are great to deal with these enemy towers. If it's a single tower, a mangonel can do the trick of killing it. If there are archers inside, perhaps you need a build to repair. And there comes Fedex here now to counterattack with both light cavalry and mangonel, and he's about to drop a monastery. Monastery will have great value. He'll be able to heal the injured light cavalry, heal the injured vehicles, collect relics, convert enemy units, and there he comes trying to... Okay, good play. He got himself all this area back. He's even dropping our wall, and he's taking out the enemy tower. The only downside is that Fedex was forced into a 1TC by the time he decided to drop the tower, so he is not getting any leverage over his opponent, economically speaking. Ganji is now advancing to the next stage. He has 12, still have like 12 views on foot here, a few farmers, he's getting some stone, he's getting a lot of wood line. That's very common when you are transitioning to the castle age, to invest a lot into the wood, because when you do so, you can invest into new buildings like monasteries, siege workshop, perhaps town centers if you want to go for a booming game. But as I stated before, the technology tree from the Turks is pretty good, so trying to go for an Imperial Age fight against the Turks usually is not the best call. There are better things for players to do. And here we can see Ganji about to drop his new buildings, and he's going for double monastery. Exactly, with double monastery he plans to pressure the Turk and get the relics. Take notice that he's going double monastery against a guy that already has light cavalry, but that's not a problem because he's Burmese and he has a spearman. The fact that he's Burmese means that his spearmen are gaining 1 attack per age, all of his infantry to be honest, and this is very helpful because attack is the stat that actually gets more used when you are facing off enemy cavalry with spearmen. And now he's trying to go for a siege workshop. So immediately redemption, which means that this monk will have the capacity of converting the enemy siege, that's defending his wall, and monks and siege. So monk siege after an archer rush. So similar to the monk rush that we saw one of these days again from Kingston vs Suricum, but with the difference that he did an archer opening. And as you can see, you don't have to fully commit into archers, upgrade pikemen, upgrade the crossmen. No, it's fine. Just use them while it's useful and then go back. And And there he comes, going for the battering run. And this is something that I find very interesting. This kind of walling that Ganji does. I think that this should actually be something to learn. Uh, One of the biggest things about the light cavalry is their mobility. So they are actually quite powerful and quite annoying to deal with, and mostly because of their mobility. So as he's advancing, he is making some buildings and some walls here uh, to deny the light cavalry free access around his monasteries and things like this. There comes another monk. Now this one has Sensity. He's about to upgrade Pikeman. He feels like the enemy light cavalry might be much of a threat. Converted one Scorpion and is bringing more and more monks. Eventually, this siege from the Turk will not be able to handle the pressure from the Redemption monks, since they will have now extra HP. And oh, he tried to go for the wall, but that was a bit too late. He's about to lose a view. No, he did save the view. So he does have pikemen, which can be healed by the monks just by staying closer to the army. Macro-wise, it's not like he's doing much, right? He's still with the same farmers. Now he's sending views forward, perhaps to drop a castle. So he probably plans to follow up this push with a fast Imperial Age. Remember, when monk rushing, having only one TC equal is way easier to manage, especially since you only have to set how many views you want to on the food, and just keep sending new views to the gold. This is usually how it works, right? For most of the macro, so you can rest a bit and focus more on the conversions, because monks do not have an auto attack. You need to manually task them to convert each unit, and that's the hard part, and that's the one that needs more practice, which is basically getting the conversions done in the correct timing. Veteran runs about to crack open the wall. The Mangonels and the Scorpions have retreated because he cannot handle fighting against that. And there goes Fedex with a move here, which is adding a defensive castle. Yes, he's playing with a single TC, and he's going for a defensive castle here. This defensive castle covers up all this area of the map. The monks cannot cross this way without getting hit by the castle. The top side's kind of walled, so he's basically going towards the Imperial Age. He has a siege workshop and a castle, which means that he might be able to drop both trebuchets and bombard cannons and repel the attack from the monks. Meanwhile, what is Ganji doing? He's idling his TC. He has like a lot of views on the go, 19 to be more precise, and he steals some relics. He didn't collect all the relics. Fedex still did a good job and managed to get like 3 relics while on the way to while Ganji was in the way to the Castle Age. So Burmese Eco could be even better. Usually the guy that goes for the Monk Rush has access to the relics, which was not the case. So let's see how this will go. Now Ganji's retreating, he still has a castle, he's moving on, he has a lot of pikemen, so full light cavalry is probably not gonna do it, and now he sees that his opponent Fedex is on the next age. Fedex did add a tower. This tower also has chemistry upgraded since his turn. The tower is not going to take down the run, but it can actually injure the monk somehow. He's trying to defend with the Mangonel, but he cannot get so close. His enemy has Russars upgraded now, but he can add Arrow Vice to help defending himself. And he even converted the enemy Russar. Yeah, don't play around monks, man. Don't play around. He's repairing the run, about to break it, converted the enemy siege, but lost the run. Scary, scary army here from Ganji, man. Converting everything. Now he's on the way to Imperial Age as well, with this beautiful economy. But the enemy is pushing back his castle, using both monks and trebuchets. I personally think that the way to go here for Fedex was to try and get enough food to upgrade the extra range on the bombard cannons. But the problem is it's very expensive. It's called artillery, and artillery costs 600 food, 650 gold. Why would I get this extra range? Because then with 14 range, even if the monks had like block printing, he could still try to go there, attack the monk, go back, go there, attack the monk, go back. So monks have 0.7 walking speed, while bombard cannons have 0.7, so they basically are slower. Both are slower, so there's like no huge difference. He could go there, click, and still keep the distance. I think that monks can be upgraded with fervor. I don't know if Burmese have it, it does, which would actually increase a bit the speed, but I don't know this extra 15% would be enough for them to compensate for the 2 extra range. So Genji is going for a castle in the more in the center of the map. He cannot get rushed. He plans to use this castle to produce trebuchets. He's not so afraid of fighting enemy Russars for now. He has a lot of pikemen, so he can actually survive, and once block printing is resurgent, he will have enough range to repel the bombard cannons, since he already has redemption. He's about to add more monasteries, so he wants to play like 4 monasteries. His eco is kind of protected, so no big deal. And as you can see, Fedex is adding archer ranges. So what does he plan to do? Perhaps some hand cannoneers, perhaps some cav archers, I don't know. But his eco doesn't look so beautiful. Now he's adding extra TCs, trying to recover from the 1 TC Imperial Age play. So he's starting to this kind of late boom on Imperial Age. And honestly, if he's able to mass a lot of Brevi Cav Archer, there is much that the Burmese can do. But while numbers are low, monks are still gonna be very menacing. And Ganji, he's not even thinking about adding a secondary TC for now. He's still focused on the 1 TC Monk Rush, now dropping trebuchets, even a 5th monastery, now the fervor that I was talking about, all the other upgrades, remember that he's Burmese, so they're quite cheap. And he's even attacking the enemy wall to crack in and start harassing them. These Russars are not yet upgraded, and I don't think they will do much because of the amount of pikemen there is here. Perhaps if there were more. And look at this is very interesting. Ganji is afraid of a counterattack. I mean, their enemy has a castle. What if he just drops like 2 petards, go there, break the wall, and then try to attack this very fragile economy with Russars? The army from Ganji is slow and he won't be able to handle much pressure on his own base. So doing the secondary layer of wall, which is not in the line of sight of Fedex, kind of counters this kind of push. And these guys, this is the cherry on the top of the pie of this game. These palisade gates. Look what Ganji does. He's building multiple structures with like the palisade gate. Honestly, they're very weak. It's not like a very strong building. But here's the thing, it just denies the Russars from having a clean fight. They're not fighting in an open field. He's creating a lot of artificial choke points to fight against the monk. And what is Fedex doing? He did the artillery, as I was telling you guys. So now he has bombard cannons with artillery, but he's under pressure. Trebuchets are about to harass him. The Russars are not being able to get close. The cannons with artillery are being helpful, but once they get in the range of the monks, they get converted, so it's a very fragile unit, you have to control that very well. Kill the monk, but lost a bombard cannon, which is like almost 5 times more expensive. He was able to kill the trebuchet. 1 more shot and the trap goes down. There goes another trap down. So these cannons are great too for defending. It's very difficult to besiege a Turk once he has artillery and all of that, but still, Fedex is stuck on his own base, not being able to access this stone, this gold, under a lot of pressure. And the army of monks, pikemen and trebuchets is quite scary. So by creating a lot of artificial choke points, you're kind of countering this Russar play. Look at the amount of Russars here. But they cannot get a clean fight against the monks and the pikemen. Villagers constantly repairing the trebuchets. More trebuchets being made. A lot of that. And look at the eco from Ganji. Yeah, same stuff from before. No big deal here. Now he's starting to convert the enemy villagers that were repairing. The bombard cannons are not even getting a chance to get close because if they try to snipe the enemy traps, even if some monks die in the process, they are way cheaper than a bombard cannon. 2 conversions that Ganji gets here, and it's going to be a nightmare for Fedex. By the way, does he have access to the anti-monk technologies? Let's take a look. One of the anti-monk technologies is called Fate. Sorry, it's called oh my god, I truly forgot. Fate is the other Devotion. Devotion is a weaker version of Fate. It makes like units 15% harder for enemy monks to convert, and then you have Fate, which makes the unit 50% harder. They're very expensive, Fate especially, and you also have Heresy, which basically makes any converted unit to immediately die. So if you have a powerful unit like a Mangonel, a Trebuchet, an Elephant, instead of getting it converted, you rather lose this unit instead of making it reinforce the enemy lines. I think that perhaps Fedex should have invested more into like Fate than into the Russars. Russars are not managing to get even closer to the monks because of the structures. Good shot from the cannons on the monks. He's barely keeping this castle alive. There comes all the monks to convert. The castle only has 9 range, so the monks can convert at a safe distance. Very, very difficult. I think that Fedex is doing a good game here. Now with a lot of bombard cannons, but still pretty hard. There comes the Russar. They might be able to get this trebuchet, but at what cost? How many Russars are going to die for this to happen? How many are going to get converted? I don't know. For now, only 2. I think it was totally worth it. Uh-oh, cannon converted. 3 monks killed. Was it worth? Probably worth it for Ganji, that has the map control. At some point, Fedex won't be able to keep making bombard cannons. His gold will eventually run out. He's already having to buy stone to keep this castle alive, and this castle is the only thing stopping these monks to run onto his base. But he's messing a good amount of Russar. That's interesting. Perhaps he wants to win on the brute force against the enemy monks here. How many Russars does he have? Seems like a lot, and there he comes, almost 20 Russars, 19 Russars, trying to run on the enemy monks. The castle is down. Castle is down, there's no more castle, the Russars are trying to get a fight, some of them are getting converted, some others are dying to pikemen, they don't even manage to kill the trebuchet, half of it got converted, the other half got killed, only a few escaped, and now the cannons are over it, and the monks can go there and try to convert it. Russars that turn against the Turkish player and are now trying to snipe the bombard cannons. Perhaps Fedex will try to use villagers to repair it, but I don't know if he'll manage to. Such a nightmare, huh? Oh, he's managing to repair the cannons, good. But there's nothing to kill the cannons, there's no villagers and nothing that they see. What a nightmare. His defensive units are here on the back of this town center. There are enemy trebuchets killing everything. He's making more and more pikemen. He didn't even upgrade halberdier, and he didn't make a single upgrade on those pikemen. It's just a regular pikeman, but from the Burmese, which has +3 attack. Free technologies, huh? Another Russar converted. Fedex is desperate to try to add more Russars, but most of his food eco is getting attacked. The monks are getting closer to the range of the bombard cannons. Damn, what a nightmare. And he's even had some Arabites to complement a bit his army comp. Damn, that's hard. Try to convert some views. Converted another bombard cannon. Damn, that's a nice. Another one. This looks so over, man. Monk Rush is OP, huh? I guess the Turk defense with bombard cannons and Russar wasn't able to stop the monks from advancing. And I think that huge part of that is monks are very cheap. Only 100 Russars, and 100 Russars that you can just redirect like all the views to go to get. Their upgrades are quite cheap, especially the Burmese ones. And the map control, which denies access for extra stone, extra gold to Fedex, while the Monk Rush player, Ganji, had access here. So he could still be collecting stone and gold for all the game long. Right there, that's the GG. So that's it, guys. I want to see Archer Rush during Feudal Age, followed by a Monk Rush later on. Very interesting game. Showcase how some civilizations like Burmese, which are not being taken with not a lot of people are playing with Burmese, but they can be quite crafty and quite powerful in some situations. Well played by Ganji, hope you guys enjoy it. Small look on the timings, they ended up going for a long 1TC brawl here, being 21 minutes Castle Age by Ganji after some Feudal Age Warfare, and 32 versus 39 Imperial Age time. Despite Fedex getting faster to Imperial Age, Ganji just retreated and made his castle at a safe spot to then later proceed to harass his opponent. Very good game. Hope you guys enjoy it. A lot more views for the guys who was not monk rushing, even some relic advantage, even so 45 converted units. Crazy, crazy, that's a lot.